This is subtraction with fractions. If you notice in this problem, there's an 8 here and an 8 here. You have to have the same numbers in the denominator in order to subtract, because you have to subtract comparable numbers. So this fraction here, it's 3 parts out of 8, and that's 1 part out of 8. So the 8's have to be the same. You simply take 3 minus 1, that gives you 2 out of 8 parts remaining. And of course you have a 5 here, there's no number here, so that could be a 0. 5 minus 0 is 5. So 5 2/8 is the partial answer, but it has to be reduced. 2 can be reduced to 1, and 8 can be reduced to 4. You just cut those numbers in half. So the answer is right down here. 5 1/4 is the answer. In this situation, we have different denominator values. So let's consider that this might be part of a pie. 2/3 of a pie is most of a pie, but you want to subtract 1/5 of a pie. If the pie were divided into 5 parts and 1 out of the 5 parts is what you want to subtract, it's actually kind of hard to do unless you change the denominators into the same number, and then it's easy to subtract from that. In order to do that, both of these numbers, 3 and 5, go into 15. So in order to make this 3 a 15, you have to multiply 3 times 5. When you do that, you also have to multiply this 2 by 5 in order for it to be accurate. So 2/3 is the same as 10 over 15. And 1/5 is the same as 3 over 15 because you have to multiply 5 times 3 in order to get 15. And then if you multiplied 5 times 3, you also have to multiply 1 times 3. And here is the answer. You have 10 minus 3, which gives you 7, and 7/15 is the amount. Okay, now let's try subtraction with borrowing. Consider this, 5 3/16 minus 5/8. The first thing is to make them both have the same denominators. In order to do this, we need to multiply this fraction by 2. So 2 8s are 16, 2 5s are 10. And then we have this number down here, 10 over 16. So 5 3/16 minus 10 over 16. Normally you would subtract this number, the 10, from the 3. But since 10 is larger than 3, that's the problem. How do we make this fraction larger so that we can subtract this number easily from that? How we do that is we take the one value from the 5, turn that into a 4, and then we add the value of 1, which would be 16 over 16, to this. Because remember, 16 over 16 equals 1, just like 2 over 2 equals 1, like 14 over 14 equals 1. They all equal 1 if they are the same numerator as the denominator. You just pick the one that's most useful. In that case, it would be 16 over 16. So we take the 5, we turn it into a 4, and with that value of 1, we add 16 over to 16 to 3 over 16, which leaves us with 19 over 16. And then 19 over 16 minus 10 over 16, and that will give you the answer of 4 and 9 over 16. Here is a review of how it works. You make the denominators the same so that it is, instead of 3/16 minus 5/8, it's 5 3/16 minus 10 over 16. Then you take the 5 so that it becomes a 4, and you add the value of 16 over 16 to 3 over 16. And that gives you 19 over 16. So you have 4 and 19 over 16, which is the same as 5 3/16, which is where your problem began. So 5 3/16 is the same as 4 and 19 over 16. So we have 19 minus 10, which gives us 9. We have 16 in the denominator position, so it stays 16. And of course, 4 minus 0, there's nothing there. So our answer is 4 and 9 over 16.